One snapshot. It was taken on August 15th, 1998, and it looks, completely ordinary. It's a father, he's smiling, he's carrying his young son on his shoulders. Directly behind them, almost perfectly centered in the frame, is a shiny red Vauxhall Cavalier. That car, that very ordinary car, holding 500 pounds of explosives. It was a warm Saturday afternoon. Market Street in Omagh was bustling. The atmosphere was completely normal for a busy market town. Shops were packed. Lots of families were out doing their back-to-school shopping. There's just this sense of routine, of peace, really. And then at 3:09 p.m., a local photographer, a man named Jim, he sees this perfect, innocent moment. He lifts his camera. The focus is sharp. A father looking right at him, happy. And his little boy is up on his shoulders, pointing at something off camera. They were right there, on the busy sidewalk. The background of that picture is what tells the real story. You see the other shoppers, the storefronts, and parked directly behind that father and son is that shiny red Vauxhall Cavalier. Jim just captured this one simple moment, froze it in time. And knowing what came next, it makes that snapshot almost unbearable to look at. The father and child in the photo, they survived the blast by what investigators called, well, pure impossible luck. The man who took the photo, Jim, he died instantly, as did 28 other people on that street. That picture, it became a historical document of tragic fate. The sequence of events started well before that photo was even taken, and it all hinges on a deliberate and tragically successful misdirection. At 2:30 p.m., so a full 40 minutes before the explosion, a coded warning was placed, a phone call. The call came from the Real IRA. They claimed that a bomb was said to detonate near the courthouse, which was up on the northern end of the town center. And this is where the police, acting, under incredible pressure, started their response. The police quickly started moving crowds away from the courthouse, setting up a cordon. But Omagh isn't a huge place. When you clear a central point like that, hundreds of people naturally get funneled down the main streets nearby. By clearing the supposed target, the police were unknowingly pushing huge groups of people, shoppers, families, everyone, directly toward Market Street, toward the red car. That calculated misdirection is really the most chilling part of this. It wasn't just planting a bomb, it was engineering the casualty count. The police were trying to save lives, but the bombers had anticipated their every move. They were walking along that exact diverted path. They had shopping bags in their hands. They were tired but happy. And they just paused for a moment right there in front of the shops. That's the critical moment, the click of the camera. The little boy, like we said, pointed at something across the street. Jim, the photographer, saw it. He lifted his camera, focused, and click. The image was made. Seconds later, the world it exploded. Now we move to the blast itself. It happened with terrifying precision. The detonation time, 3:10 p.m. The red Vauxhall Cavalier erupted in a flash of metal and fire, and you have to understand the scale of this bomb. 500 pounds of homemade explosives. The shockwave tore through the street with incredible force. Storefronts just collapsed. Windows shattered for blocks. The blast was heard for miles. They were thrown backward by the force of the blast, smashed violently onto the pavement. But they lived. This is where that impossible timing becomes a physical fact. Investigators found that at the exact split second of a detonation, a large delivery van was passing directly in front of them. It momentarily broke the line of sight to the car bomb, a massive improvised and entirely accidental shield. It absorbed the most lethal parts of the explosion, the immediate blast pressure, and critically, all the shrapnel and flying metal from the car. They were severely injured, of course, but that momentary shield saved their lives. Jim, the photographer, was a bit further away but had no barrier. He died instantly. And there's one more detail here for you to consider about the evidence itself. The camera Jim was holding, it was destroyed, pulverized, but the roll of film inside, the film with that single frozen image taken seconds before, it was somehow ejected from the camera body. It survived. It was found intact in the debris, developed later, a perfect salvage frame of the world just before it ended. When that photograph was developed and shown to people, the reaction was profound. Many felt it wasn't just a picture, but a warning, a premonition. It showed the bomb, but it also showed the people who statistically should not have survived it. On the surface, it's just pure innocence. The father's grin, the casual shoppers, a quiet August day. But once you know what's parked right behind them, the picture becomes suffocating. People started searching for clues in the image itself. There were two main things. The first was about the boy. Some people felt his face looked, well, strangely, solemn, serious. It was such a contrast to his father's big smile, as if he somehow sensed the danger right behind them. But the second detail is the one that was most widely debated. It has to do with the red car itself. If you look closely at the photo, the car's windows perfectly reflect the street, except for one small panel near the back. It's described as a blackened, distorted patch, like heat damage. And the implication that horrified people was that this distortion, this smudge, was somehow captured before the explosion happened, as if it were a sign of something wrong. Officially, they concluded it was probably just photographic glare. A trick of the light, the sun hitting the shiny paintwork. But the local people who saw it, they remained deeply uncomfortable. They felt that the photograph knew more than anyone on that street did. The father later shared a quote that really stuck with people. He said, "One moment we were smiling. The next, I woke up in the street, covered in dust, thinking my boy was gone. Had they been a few seconds earlier or later, they would have been casualties." Their survival was because the bomb went off at the precise wrong moment for the 29 victims, but the exact right moment for them to be shielded. It shows normal life, suspended just seconds before chaos. It's a reminder of how fragile those happy everyday moments really are. Today, if you walk down Market Street in Omagh, there's a quiet memorial there, plaques with the names of the 29 people lost carved in stone.